Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. Today we got another reaction video. Well, if you were wondering what that sound is, first of all, that's a vacuum out in the hallway. Um, and I only have about an hour to kind of get in as many reactions as I can right now. So we're gonna say frick that vacuum lady. We're gonna look at this 10 NBA players with the best odds to get traded at the deadline. I think this was made by a Jimmer Range a few days ago. So we're going to see who he has in there. Trade deadline's coming up, so it should be interesting.
Going forward, last year, we saw the Toronto Raptors go get Marc Gasol, who played a big role in their championship run. We saw the Mavericks bring
Marc Gasol's fortunate for that.
It was a massive reason. They're sitting as the 5th seed in the Western Conference, only a year removed from being the 14th seed. In this video, we're going to look at some players with the best chance to be traded and who could be going after them. But if you guys like my content...
Were they 14th last year? I know the Suns were at the bottom. Yeah, I think they were actually. Wow, that's crazy to think about.
Like and subscribe. Let's try to get.
I was thinking they were like 12th or 11th or something.
Like on today's video, and let's hop into it. Now for this video, we're going to look at some of the most notable names that have been receiving trade buzz. I do have to make the
disclaimer. See Andre Drummond there, Chris Paul.
Already be traded by the time you're seeing this. We are only going based on rumors and reports.
D Rose,
none of these players could get traded, but that's pretty hard to imagine.
I want D Rose to be a contender.
A lot of trade deadline buzz is the Detroit Pistons. If their roster were to stay intact, there's a possibility they're in the playoffs, but that's going to be the 8th seed at best.
Yeah,
is starting to sink in for the Pistons front office that this roster is not going to compete for a title. They've got some solid young pieces such as Luke Kennard and Boya. It's time.
I think if they were fully healthy, they could be up there. I think they could actually, if Blake's fully healthy, you have D Rose, you have Andre Drummond, Luke Kennard's healthy, Christian Woods played nice, Galloway. I think they have quite a bit of pieces. Reggie Jackson too. Now he's healthy, but they have a lot of pieces that they could give problems to some of the top tier teams. I don't expect them to beat them, but I don't think you can completely rule it out. But there's a slight chance.
Time to build around those guys.
It's probably best to start over.
Derrick Rose and Andre Drummond. It's incredible to see the comeback.
Incoming ad, but D Rose, Drummond definitely at the top of the trade buzz for the Pistons. Not that
Derrick Rose has had this season. He's getting 19 points and 6 assists a game, shooting 50% from the field. Over the last month,
in 26 minutes,
23 points. Derrick Rose can bring a lot of value to a team that needs a guy to go out there and create his own shot.
He was on a 14-game, 20-point streak until yesterday because he had knee soreness.
And most teams can find a way to get a deal done salary-wise, with him getting just $15 million over the next 2 years. The team rumored to be the most interested is the Los Angeles Lakers. Reportedly, the Pistons are seeking a first-round pick in return for Rose. But there's also
I don't know what they could give him.
Could be willing to let go of Kyle Kuzma. There's not too many Las Vegas trade props for the deadline, but there is.
I don't know if the Lakers would do that. Just Kuzma for D Rose. I don't think the Lakers would do that because I feel like they probably want more than that for Kuzma. But in reality, I don't know. I don't think the Pistons would. I don't think they'd make that trade either. I don't know. It could happen. I just don't think the Lakers have enough to give to D Rose, but yeah.
Whether or not he will get traded, and that's at plus 110, which is basically even. It's hard to project exactly what that deal would be, but if the Lakers are letting go of Kuzma to the Pistons, I hope they could also bring back Svi Mykhailiuk in that deal, who's averaging 9 points.
I don't even know if Kuzma will get traded
this season. There's some other teams rumored to have
Svi Mykhailiuk. I do like him. He's good.
But as of right now, it does seem the Lakers
76ers
to land the former.
See, I don't know what the 76ers could give either because they don't really have
much is Andre Drummond. The money line for him getting traded right now to any team is at minus 270. And as you guys should know, Vegas is always right. So there is a very good chance Drummond is out the door. Now, to what team that could be, the by far frontrunner is the Atlanta Hawks at minus 150. To me, it doesn't make too much sense.
Go to the Hawks.
They're at the bottom of the NBA, and Drummond could potentially be hitting the open market this offseason. Now, with that said, we've seen recent trade deadline moves such as Tobias Harris and Kristaps Porzingis turn into long-term extensions. Behind the Hawks is the Celtics and Raptors at plus 500. Both these teams could use a guy like Drummond, but as of right now,
I think he'd hurt both of them. Honestly, I don't think Drummond's a winning player.
Forward Kevin Love. Vegas has extremely high odds that Love will be traded before the deadline. Currently, the line
Well,
is sitting at
we're
-500
recording
for the
this, I guess the Cavs just came out and said they're not looking to trade Love, and they're most likely going to trade him in the offseason. So don't really know about that. I don't even expect them really to trade him, and I didn't really expect that before, anyways. So we'll see.
It obviously makes sense. They're one of the worst teams in the league, looking to build around their young talent. There is no need for a 31-year-old Kevin Love on their books for 3 more seasons. He's still a very solid player,
well, they shouldn't have paid
averaging
him.
18 points and 10 rebounds, shooting 38% from 3. Some potential landing spots have emerged, such as the Portland Trailblazers and the Phoenix Suns. I actually really
Portland
like
wouldn't make sense. Phoenix maybe, because they have Saric. He'd be an improvement on Saric.
Booker. It's hard for them to bring in much talent in free agency, so I think they would benefit greatly
Yeah,
from a veteran.
I mean,
like
Phoenix wouldn't be too bad.
Left as a top power forward.
The one team I think he would help, I think it would help the Rockets, honestly, because I mean they have PJ Tucker right now, and they're not really playing defense as is. They don't really have a great defensive team, so I mean, when that's the case, kind of just go out there to try and outscore the opponents, and Kevin Love can definitely give them scoring about 15 to 20 points a game, and he can stretch the floor too, which I mean that's something that some of their big men haven't been able to do, like Clint Capela can't. Nene, I mean, I don't even know if Nene's played at all this year, but he's still technically on the roster. He can't. Like in past years, Kenneth Faried couldn't. I feel like that would kind of be a change for them.
One of the latest
and you can go small ball with him too.
Are shopping Eric Bledsoe at the deadline. He let them down in the playoffs a year
ago. That makes no
so
sense.
The right package could make them an even bigger threat as
Bledsoe?
they look to come out of the Eastern Conference.
I don't expect him to get traded at all.
Whether or not they're actually looking to move Bledsoe, the Bucks GM has shot the rumors down.
But we've seen that with his
ahead
gimmicks.
Of a trade, and the Bucks are looking to make any big moves. I think Bledsoe is the most realistic piece to be involved, given how George Hill is playing this season.
I don't know about that.
Now, a lot of the players we've looked at are big names and have moved would most likely
Bledsoe's not playing bad himself.
Blockbuster trade, but some of the most impactful trades don't involve the guys everyone sees on the NBA's Instagram on a nightly basis. Robert Covington gets a lot of attention from the non-casual fans, and rightfully so. I don't think there's a team that's worse with Covington on their roster. He is the most valuable skill set
look at the Timberwolves right now.
myself likes to talk about, and that's 3-and-D. He's an elite defender who on his career
But no, I think Robert Covington, he could definitely help some teams. I've seen people say go back to the Rockets. I think that would make some sense. There's a lot of teams that could probably use like a wing. I know, like the Clippers, I think they're trying to target like him or Iguodala to try and get like one more wing that can defend on the bench. I don't know. It'll be interesting.
On over 6 attempts
Dallas
a game.
Mavericks,
he doesn't
possibly.
Demand too many touches, but it's going to be interesting to see what his price tag is. It's been rumored that he's one of the Mavericks' biggest trade targets, and it's also been reported that the Timberwolves have already declined an offer from the Mavericks for him.
I actually didn't know the Mavericks rumor. I was just throwing it out there.
I would like to see, but I expect a lot of offers coming in for Robert Covington. The thing with Covington, though, is that he has one of the best veteran contracts in the whole league. He's on contract for 2 more seasons. That was a dope edit that he just did. $12 million
like he's holding his contract.
Tristan Thompson is having a career year, averaging over 12 points and 10 rebounds. For any competing team that needs a rebounding presence, Tristan Thompson more than fills that hole. He's only got 1 year left on his contract, and will be surprised if he's not moved in the next week. One of my favorite.
What if he went to the Nets and was re-paired up with Kyrie?
New York Knicks, the quote-unquote guy.
And then they probably have to trade DeAndre Jordan or Jared Allen.
Randall. It's Marcus Morris, who on his career has averaged 12 points. Offensively, he's been one of the best power forwards in all of the NBA, averaging over 19 points, shooting 45% from 3. A contender getting a...
Well, anyone can do that if they're on the Knicks.
The latest rumors are that the Knicks aren't opposed to moving Morris. It's just that they've given him a pretty high price tag. But there are some buzz around teams we've mentioned, I think like 20 times already, such as the Clippers, 76ers, and Lakers. Another name swirling around the trade rumor world is going to be Kings shooting guard Bogdan Bogdanovic. Now, the team's looking to go after him. I'm not even going to bother naming. You know who they are. But he's a solid piece for teams looking for some rotational offense.
I think he might get traded, honestly.
Shooting 37% from 3. Lastly, we're going to look at a team.
And he's really nice, too. Like, I went to the Bulls game against the Kings about 2 weeks ago, like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. This dude was shooting his warm-up shots literally past the Bulls logo, right? Like probably 45, 50 feet. And I kid you not, I think he drained almost 9 or 10 in a row at one point. That's insane. From that deep, most people you might think probably Curry could do that. Damian Lillard, maybe Clay. I don't know. But that was insane. And then he missed, and then he did it again. So I don't know. When he's on, he's on.
Deadline, and that's the Oklahoma City Thunder. Going into the season, after
They had
trading
a
away
good
their
game
star
too, I
players
think,
Paul George
in that
and
game.
Russell Westbrook, it looked like this season was going to be the start of a rebuild and would finish with some of the best odds to land the #1 pick in the draft. That's definitely not how this season has turned out.
I don't think anyone thought they were going to be in the
sit
odds
in
for
the
the
Western
first
Conference,
pick.
separated by 4 games with the 4th-seeded Denver Nuggets and 6
We knew
games
they were
ahead
good.
of the 8th-seeded Grizzlies.
It's just some people
So with
didn't
there
think
being
they were a
very
playoff
realistic
team.
shot they're playing in the playoffs, they are put in a pretty weird scenario. Do they play out this season with the roster they have, or do they go ahead and blow it up and get the value out of guys like Danilo Gallinari on the last year of his contract? As a Thunder fan, I'm torn. I actually really like this year's team and want to see what they can do in the playoffs.
A Thunder fan.
At the end
Didn't
of the
know
day, all I want to see is this team win an NBA title. Guys like Chris Paul, Steven Adams,
I think they should
and
play
Danilo
out the
Gallinari
season. I mean,
will most
maybe trade Gallinari because we're going to let this play
not
because
be
he's
around
mad.
at the time.
But
That's a
maybe
legit
trade Gallinari
possibility.
because,
So if the goal
he
is
was
a
injured
title,
for a
it
lot
makes
of the year and they were still winning without him. But when you look at, Chris Paul, Steven Adams, they've been contributing to wins. They can, move their value up, and then you can trade them. And then you can start over. Same thing with Dennis Schroeder.
But I also believe a winning culture is important. With the draft picks they have coming in from other teams, tanking might not be what's best. So as you can see, I'm very torn. Regardless of what I think is best, some of the most rumored players to be on the move are on the Thunder's roster. The main ones being Danilo Gallinari, Steven Adams, Chris Paul, and Dennis Schroeder. The player I think can take up the league rankings
Chris
the
Paul
most
won't
from
get
this
traded.
group, in my opinion,
Not in the
is Steven
middle of the
Adams.
season
He's not a crazy
at all.
scoring threat. He's efficient
Steven
at the
Adams,
basket, a great
maybe.
rebounder,
I don't really
and
expect
solid
it.
interior
Schroeder,
defender.
there's a better
lot of
chance.
teams
I think
rumored that have
Gallinari
interest
would be
in
the first
Adams,
one to get
but I think
traded.
the most interesting are definitely the Los Angeles Clippers and the Boston Celtics. The Clippers could probably get it done contract-wise with guys like Harkless and Zubac. It's just that most of their trade assets they've already given to the Thunder for Paul George. I've talked about it a lot, but I think Adams is the perfect trade target for the Celtics. Going into the playoffs, I really don't think they want to have Enes Kanter down low against the likes of Joel Embiid and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Danilo Gallinari has been one of the most common names brought up approaching this deadline. One, because he's having a great season. He's getting over 19 points a game, shooting over 41% from 3, but also because he is on the last year of his deal, which means the price tag shouldn't be too crazy. Early on in the season, there was a lot of rumors that the
Can you
Blazers
imagine if, the Clippers, this won't happen, this isn't likely at all, but imagine if the Clippers traded, Harkless and Zubac, yeah, that would give them, a lot less size, but they got back Gallinari, and then they had, they would have, a ton of scorers, and I feel it kind of sucks that you got traded in the first place, to get Paul George to the Clippers, but if they win a championship together, then it would kind of make up for it, I think.
would like to go after him, but the latest is that both the Mavericks
I don't
and
expect that to
76ers
happen,
are
though.
very
I don't think they would
interested.
even
He can never
entertain
really
it
boost either
because
of these teams, but how sick
they
would
wouldn't
it
have,
be
a big
to have
man
a
other than,
European
Harrell.
Big Three in Dallas. Dennis
That would be
Schroeder wasn't
nice.
getting too much attention until recently when he's put himself
It
in the
also adds to the
conversation
European
for 6th man
theme
of the year. On
of
the
the
season,
team.
he's averaging 19 points and 4 assists, shooting 47% from the field and 38% from 3. He's still got another year on his contract, but the rumors are starting to
Derrick Rose has been starting recently. I thought D Rose was 6th man of the year, but if it's not going to be him, it might be Schroeder.
Points and 6 assists, shooting 48% from the field and 36% from 3. He's a guy that can push a lot of teams closer to championship contention.
I'm not going to entertain Chris Paul. Okay, wait. We're going to skip over here because get going. The
Honestly,
Bucks
I think he's the least likely
and
of
the
the 4 to
Heat.
get traded, given that ridiculous contract. I'm excited to see what happens with this.
They're talking about
over
possible
the next
places for
weeks.
Chris Paul
I don't
again.
think a minute is going to go by where Sam Presti's phone isn't.
Well, I think that's going to do it for this video. There's some people in here that I think could get traded. But ultimately, the trade deadline, I feel like it always kind of isn't what we expect it to be. We expect, this guy, that guy, all to get traded like it's free agency or something. But I don't think that many moves are going to happen. I could see Derrick Rose getting traded, Danilo Gallinari as well, probably Robert Covington, probably Bogdanovich, all those guys. But I don't know, maybe Schroeder as well. But the rest of them don't really know about. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'm out. Peace.